Happy Halloween, my D&D family. Today, I wanted to do something to celebrate the holiday. I wanted to do a build that could sneak up to somebody, kill them, and then impersonate them. This is the Body Snatcher. Before jumping into the build, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, the Wolves of Langston. The Wolves of Langston is a solo campaign that is dripping with atmosphere that is perfect for Halloween. You take on the role of a murder investigator in a small town. I played it myself, I had a lot of fun with it, and I think you guys will too. Not only that, they also come with some pretty baller merch. My favorite is the I Am Not a Mimic t-shirt. So whether you're a lover of solo campaigns, or this is the first one you've ever played, or you just really like cool D&D merch, well, whatever the case is, you'll find the links in the description down below. But with that, my friends, let's jump into the build. So in order to make this concept work, we really need two different things. One, we need the ability to quickly assassinate someone, and then two, we need the ability to impersonate them. The idea behind this character is that we grab a guard, kill them, and then turn into them and continue their guard patrol until we find the next opportunity to take over somebody else. Sounds like a fun concept. Let's see what we can come up with. Starting off with lineage, the obvious choice is changeling. Be able to change your features to look like whoever you want. Additionally, you could be someone like a furbolg and get disguise self. However, I went with custom lineage actor. The main reason for this is that we can get a +3 in charisma right out the gate, which is really powerful. And we also come with the actor feat. The actor feat is fantastic. It's what helps us get to that +3, but more importantly, it allows us to mimic other people's voices, which is going to be pretty important when we're mimicking other people altogether. As for our stats, charisma is obviously going to be our primary, constitution will be our secondary, but we also want to make sure our dexterity is a 14, so we get the +2 to our medium armor, and then anything left over we'll put into wisdom to round out our wisdom saves. For our leveling structure, we're going to be taking 2 levels into Hexblade Warlock, followed by 6 levels into College of Whispers Bard. We're then going to jump back into Warlock for 3 levels, and the remainder will go into College of Whispers Bard. Before jumping into the level by level breakdown, let's talk about skill proficiencies a little bit. We're definitely going to be a face, we need to be a stealthy face as well, so in order of importance, we're definitely going to want stealth. That's going to be huge for us. But what we want next is going to be what our DM calls for when we are impersonating someone. Usually deception, but can be performance, so talk to your DM and see what they're going to call for more often than not. And then afterwards, I'd pick up persuasion just because it's called on so often in face situations. In our early levels, we're just kind of a strong warlock. We have a +3 in charisma from the get-go, so we might be a +1 above anybody else as far as charisma goes. This allows us to be just a good Eldritch blaster with medium armor at this level. So we're tankier than most warlocks, but we're hitting more often because of that extra charisma, so we're just a bit stronger than normal coming out the gate. We also get first level spells. I'd use these for social situations. I'd actually go with Charm Person and Cause Fear. Be more of that manipulator, more of that person who causes social problems, and have that included here. I'm also going to grab Booming Blade, but that's going to be for later. With our second level in Warlock, the most important thing we're going to be grabbing is invocations, specifically the Mask of Many Faces. This allows us to cast Disguise Self at will, and in between this and Actor, we can look and sound like anybody really quickly. This is going to be our baseline impersonating, and we can do it right from level 2, so we can start getting ourselves in those situations that are so fun, where you're both infiltrating with your stealth and your skills, but also your social prowess and being able to mimic other people and look like other people and fool your way into situations. A lot of fun. What we do with our second invocation is really dealer's choice. I would go Devil's Sight if we didn't already have 60 feet of dark vision from being custom lineage. I'm personally going to go with False Life. It's just my standard for just making yourself more tanky in these early levels to make sure you survive in later levels where you can swap it out for something you want more. A couple flavor notes here. Something you can do with your Body Snatchers, because you're custom lineage, you can kind of look like what you want, so you could actually be a bit faceless. You could have very diminished features, Voldemort for example, or just somebody who has kind of less of a face than normal, and that kind of gives us a reason where we want to disguise self and cover our own face. You can play off that and have your character really study people's faces, so when they meet a new character, they get up close and they're staring at their face and just really studying it and kind of being awkward in that way. Could be fun. So level 1 in Bard gives us both spellcasting and inspiration. Inspiration is nice just to weave in with our bonus action as we're doing whatever else we're doing. I don't really have any super awesome flavor notes for inspiration. I usually like to draw some flavor around it. What would you guys do? I always love to hear what your guys' flavor ideas are. For this particular character, what would their inspiration look like? Let me know in the comments down below. As for our first level spells, the best spammable spell we have is Silvery Barb, so we're probably going to take that. And I also really like Dissonant Whispers, both as just a early level spell, but it just has great synergy for just telling them to get off you, for setting up your teammates for a bunch of opportunity attacks. Dissonant Whispers is a really good first level spell. well. Level 2 in Bard, we get Jack of all trades. We are a skill-based character, so there are going to be situations where we're being called on a skill we don't have proficiency in. That's when Jack of all trades comes in to help us out to cover those skills we otherwise wouldn't be very good at. Level 3 really kicks Bard off. We get second level spells, and we get our subclass. We get two neat features that come from Whisper's Bard. The first is Psychic Blades. This allows us to change our bardic inspiration from this thing that we're giving to our allies to enhance our weapon attacks, and it kind of acts like a smite. Throw additional damage on top of it, but if you get a crit, it actually doubles the damage. So that can be a big chunk of damage. Another way to think about this is actually, it's like forcing a sneak attack. It scales very similarly to sneak attack. So you can kind of think about yourself like a roguelike that sets up these assassination situations where you don't have to go through all the hoops of a sneak attack, but you get fewer of them. So it's kind of give or take. You also get Words of Terror, which is largely a flavor feature, but a cool one. You talk to someone for a minute, they make a save, and if they fail it, they're frightened of you. That frightened condition isn't the best for social situations, and you're not often going to be going straight from using this feature into a combat. So how it plays out is really going to be up to your DM, but I can see potential for doing some really fun things here, specifically in social situations. A fun little flavor thing you could do with this is slowly as you're talking to them, you can change your face to match theirs, and then when they blink, it's back to your normal face, and you just kind of trip them out for a second. Could be fun. We also get our second level spells, and I'm a strong believer that second level spells for bards represents our defense. Here, we're going to want to be picking up Mirror Image. We are going to be a melee combatant using a rapier. Mirror Image is going to be fantastic for increasing our tankiness when we jump on that front line. It's best used for creatures that hit hard. If you're being swarmed, Mirror Image isn't the best. If you're fighting mono a mono, then it's very, very good. Another spell that stands out to me here is Detect Thoughts. It gives us the ability to read people's surface thoughts in a radius around us, and it also allows us to kind of sense people's thoughts through objects, so we can kind of check around corners without having to look around them by using Detect Thoughts. We also get Expertise at this level. I'm going to be using it for definitely stealth, and the second one is going to be based on what the DM calls for when we're impersonating someone, either deception or performance. At level 4, we're going to bump our charisma, probably getting it to around 20 at this point with the +3 that we started with, but that plus charisma is fantastic. It helps our attacks, our damage, our spells. Everything we do is based on charisma, so getting it maxed out as soon as possible just makes too much sense. Level 7 or Bard 5, we get the incredible Bard 3rd level spells. Tons of AoE options that are superior, but the one that sounds the most fun to me is Enemies Abound, where you choose the stupidest, biggest target and you let them go ham on all of these smaller enemies. It's a ton of fun. Doesn't work every situation, but when it does, it's a blast. Again, a flavor note can be that you change everyone's faces around that creature to look like their enemies' faces, so it just freaks them out for a moment. You know, they have mommy issues, so you make every face around them look like mommy, and they freak out and start killing everything or running away or doing something ridiculous. This is a big level for our Psychic Blades. Our die size increases to 3d6, and then it also restores on a short rest all of our charges. We likely have 5 charges at this point, so having those restore on a short rest is fantastic. 5 per short rest is decent. And you can think about it as 15 3d6 of damage at this level, which is pretty great. So the idea here is we set up a sneak attack and we go in there with our rapier using a booming blade and then dropping our Psychic Blades on top of it to try and do as much damage as possible up front, so hopefully we can kill them. That will more than likely kill a commoner or a guard, for example. We take them out and then we take their face, and that's the idea behind this build, but that idea gets so much better at Bard 6, where we get the Mantle of Whispers. The Mantle of Whispers allows us to capture our recently slain enemy's shadow as a reaction, and we're going to retain this shadow until we finish a long rest. But what do we do with it? So as an action, you can use this shadow to take on their image, so you basically look like them now. It's kind of like a super powered disguise self, and it lasts for an hour. The biggest part is while you're in this disguise, you actually gain information that's pertinent to maintaining the disguise. So basically, you would know simple information about the person that could make it so that you can portray yourself as them. You can know their inflections, you might know sentences that they commonly use, so on and so forth. And this is translated to getting a +5 to your deception checks when you are trying to pretend that you are them. You can only do this once per rest, short or long, but in between our expertise, the +5 we get from this, actor gives us some bonuses. We're going to be incredibly difficult to tell our disguise from, so we can infiltrate very well using this setup. At this point, we want to increase our nuclear damage, so we're going to go back into Warlock for a little bit. First, we're going to go into Warlock 3, which is going to give us a Pact. We're taking Pact of the Blade and Improved Pact Weapon, getting rid of False Life. Improved Pact Weapon is going to give us a +1 weapon, is going to allow us to cast spells through it. Overall, just makes our weapon quite a bit better. Level 4, we get an ASI at this level. There's a bunch of different options you can pick. I'm assuming we're already maxed in Charisma. If you're not, do that now. Otherwise, a feat I might be looking at is the Lucky Feat. Really have good rolls because we're doing sneak attacks and whatnot. But in the case that we really need our nuke to hit, we don't want to take any chances chances, and lucky can really help us out in those situations. Other ideas include anything that can increase your nuclear damage. Go through the feat, see if anything can help you out there, include it. At level 5, we're getting a new invocation, and we're going to be taking Eldritch Smite. This is going to increase our nuclear damage a significant amount. So we can sneak up onto our target, we then Hexblade's Curse them with our bonus action, stab them with our Rapier Booming Blade combo. We got to make sure this hits, that's where lucky would come in, but we're going to have advantage because we've snuck up on them and surprised them. We're going to drop Psychic Blades as well as our Eldritch Smite. This does a total of 1d8 from the Rapier, 2d8 from the Booming Blade, 3d6 from Psychic Blades, 4d8 from Eldritch Smite, plus our Charisma and our Proficiency bonus from Hexblade's Curse, dealing an average of 51 damage, but also keep in mind that we crit on a 19 or 20, and the crits, when this guy hits crits at 10%, they hit freaking hard. If our target somehow survives that, we get to do the exact same thing next turn, we just don't get the surprise this time. But because our Eldritch Smite knocked them prone, if we won initiative, we get to attack them at advantage because they're prone, so this can be a big 1-2 schmack. After this, I'd probably go back into Bard for the remainder of our career, getting to level 15, getting magical secrets, increasing our Psychic Blades damage, overall just making us more powerful, but the idea stays the same. We're gonna find someone, we're gonna nuke the crap out of them, we're gonna take their body, we're gonna infiltrate, we're gonna complete missions, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. I really like this idea, I would totally have fun playing with it. What would you guys do to make it better? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're down there, don't forget to check out the Wolves of Langston. Get that one shot, it's awesome. But with that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you then, and happy Halloween.